Thanks for stopping by, guys, and welcome back to Scrap Mechanic. Today we're going to be looking at some prototype weapons I've been working on. These weapons are new cannons designed to be able to fire downwards, or at least downwards to some extent. Now these are being labeled the DF cannons, or the DF non-detached cannons. Essentially these are non-detached cannons with a bit of an add-on to allow them to fire downwards. So we're going to be looking at some of the prototype tanks as well as the cannons and how they work. So without further ado, let's start off with a non-modified cannon. This is the Seraph 4 with its standard 4-round autoloader. The issue with these cannons is they cannot shoot downwards at all. The world has a flat horizontal line, and if you try and force anything downwards using a spud gun or a hammer, below that, it will just push outwards in a direction or the best direction it can find. So what do I mean? So if I aim and fire, it fires normally like you'd expect. It hits its target. Now if I fire straight, the same thing will happen. Round goes where it should be. But as soon as I point that barrel down below that flat horizontal, the round still goes straight, even though the cannon is pointed downwards. So, I've been trying to find methods to work around this, and so far these are the best that I have found. First cannon we're going to be looking at is this. Essentially all it is two pistons that push downwards at the exact same time that the spud fires. This is at range 2, full speed, and there's just a simple pulse generator here that makes sure the pistons only fire once. A little bit of logic for timing. And so long as the spud gun and the pistons fire at the exact same time, everything works fine. Now the reason the cannon is tilted is so that the aiming machine gun and the barrel are lined up with the flight path of the explosive. So if I hop into this guy, I can aim my round and fire. It works just fine. But that was a straight shot. Now if we reload and fire down, now you can see I'm pointed down below the horizontal line. And there we go. Much lower than the Seraph can actually fire. Now there is still a limitation to this. You can't point straight down. So let's see if I can hit its max. Right about there. As you can see, that is the max that the round can go downwards. At least with this setup. So the issue with this cannon is when you actually fire the round does not leave through the barrel. If you watch, when I fire, the round leaves through the chassis of the tank. And that's simply because it's being pushed downwards by the pistons. See if you can notice that again. Now, for light armor, it works fine, so I can shoot out the backs and the sides, but the front of the tank is relatively heavy armored, and the round will detonate on my own armor. So the problem is we got to get the round to fire straight out the barrel, or at least seem like it's firing straight out the barrel. For that, we move to these cannons. Much more complex, and they also need a chunk of logic to do all the timing and prep for the gun. So what's happening here is the cannon itself is actually above the breech of the gun. So this round is raised up using this piston, and then these two fire the same way that the older cannon does. Essentially, the round is stored inside the turret until it's ready to fire, then it's raised up to the cannon and fired down through the barrel. And with that, we got this guy, which so far is the most practical one I have of the 3 prototypes I have here. So if I aim, fire, I didn't have it loaded, oops. Try that again, aim, fire. Hits its mark, and I'm going to drive forward a little bit so I can get bit more barrel depression. There we go. Fire. And that should be about its max depression angle, max downwards angle. So now if we watch the round itself, you should see it raise up, fire, and then fire through the barrel. There you go. And as long as you have those timings really tight, the round is not exposed for very long. And honestly, it works quite well. The only downside to this is A, it's a bit large for a cannon. B, the round does have to leave the safety of the turret before firing. And C, there's only one round. But overall, functional. And the last one we're going to get to is this guy. This is very, very much a prototype. It is not finished. It is barely functional. This is a 4-round autoloader version of the DF cannons. So this you load like a normal autoloader for the most part. Aim like a normal autoloader. And the biggest issue with this is that all 4 rounds have slightly different flight characteristics because of where they are positioned and their timing. I have not found a workaround for this yet, but if I fire these 4 off, first one's going to go high, second one's going to go a little lower, third one's going to go about on target, fourth one is directly on target. It's kind of hard to tell because my spud guns are freaking out, and so is the suspension. Stop that. Now, if we actually look at this cannon, functionality-wise, it is identical to this. The only difference is all 4 rounds are raised above the cannon, and then these fire. The timing part is a problem, because the spud guns themselves, up here, take time to travel to hit this one, and this one, this one, and this one. That is where the timing comes into play. So overall, it's functional, but just barely. And the aiming of this cannon is near impossible because of each round having its own flight path. And that actually killed me. Not sure why or how, but it did. So that is simply an update of my progress on the downwards firing cannon project I've been working on recently, talking about recently. This here is probably the best version I have so far, most reliable, most useful. Now, I don't think this is going to be on an NBT anytime soon, simply because it's a single shot. At this point, autoloaders are so useful that downwards firing cannons probably won't be coming into play all too soon. To give up the autoloader for what is a niche feature, I think, won't do well. But if we can get downwards firing autoloaders like I've been experimenting with, I could very much see this being the next step in cannon design, in the same way that stabilizers were. So I'm going to go ahead and end this little episode here. If you guys did enjoy, please leave a like. Any suggestions, leave them in the comments down below. Enjoy the channel, enjoy what I'm doing. Please subscribe, it helps out a lot. And right now, shares help the channel the most. So if you do help the channel, please share this episode with a friend. I do want to also thank Ad for being a member of the channel and helping to make videos like this possible. So without any further ado, I'm going to go ahead and end it here. Thanks for stopping by, thanks for sticking around, and until next time, peace.